Hello, the game has started and it's my opponent to go first, and this is my rack, so not great. Opponent opens with ticks, and I think cow looks pretty decent for 27. A little bit better than the opening rack. The W and G don't go fantastically together, but I should be able to score with this rack at least. Opponent likely to get some value off the X unless he's planning on bingoing. Key takes an S. Bingo lane in row 6. Don't see a 7 here. Wondering if there's an 8. Well, there would be an 8 swording through an N if my opponent plays an N. Or wordings. Does cow take an S front hook? Now opponent does play under the X, getting some value there. Oxo takes nothing. My W plays quite nicely underneath the E. Now I could play wig or word. Word takes a Y, so that could be a high score. I don't mind this wig for 28. Not bad. Decoders through a D, but is there a 7? Decors. Decors. Wow, 100 points. That doesn't remain available. But it still does play. Kite. Recodes. Decors. No, I didn't think so. It sounded a bit strange. Recodes is fine. Created a floater there in column A. Now I've drawn the first of the 2 blanks, and I have 3 A's. So now I have to think about my 5 vowel 8s that I've learned in the past. And the G actually does look quite useful, as does the C. Academia, but not quite. I do have the air prefix, but I don't see that going anywhere. What about words ending in IAE? Just not seeing it. There has to be a 5-vowel 8 with this rack plus a floater. Almost certainly is. Interesting, opponents left column A alone. Now I could just play double A there. It takes out a hotspot. It removes the threat of a bingo through the R, and it actually leaves a pretty decent 5-letter set. I think I'm going with this. That's a good looking rack. And I should be bingoing here. Cow takes an S. Hailers. Wig takes an S, and I think maybe just the S. Looking at underlap potential. Not seeing it. Now what about playing through the G? Layer is good. Laigher, but that's not gonna be pluralized. Okay. So opponent's play of F takes out the G more or less as a floater. Well, GH would have to be GT. No, that's not going to work. Zens. What about Zens and Shalia? Or what about a 9-timer? Even if it's not a bingo, the 9-timer would be great. So here, no, that doesn't work. No, not seeing it. So how about Shalia? Oh, that just gives back such an easy score to opponent. I don't know about that. Hailers, 78. Much of a muchness. I'm actually going with this. 78. 3 eyes, not ideal. Yearing would be one way to get rid of 2 eyes. I think year is a verb, but no R to play through. Nigh. What about year? playing through the A. So I've got nigh here for 24. Earring. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Opponent plays Ho. I don't have anything that goes in front of Ho, so what about highing? No, not highing. Highing like that. 3 eyes again, so not great. Lurry would be one way to get rid of 2 of the eyes. Lurry. Liar. Perhaps it's best to change here. If the score is really poor and the rack leave is poor, then it doesn't make much sense to suffer through the dross 2 racks in a row. Now, I think Ho are there. Nope, not seeing anything great through that one. Perhaps something through the AR. Is liar worth doing? For 12, it probably is. Takes out a hot spot, and the rack leave is not shocking considering there are only 2 eyes to come. Yeah, this is slightly better than changing. Now what about Rigil? Why does that spring to mind? Or is that Ridgil? Rigil, not sure. So opponent down to under 4 minutes now. And yeah, I think liar is probably better than, definitely better than changing. Respite, nice. Opponent. Now let's just check Rigils because no, it's Ridgils. Okay, so respite. I think I will go with liar. That's a bit better. I have the ing ending. And I have the IES or IER ending. Miss Ring, is that a thing? Could play grim through the R, or Ming. Ming's not bad actually. Oh, audio comes down. Meyerings. What about Meyerings and Skite? Or Rhymings? No, neither are good. So let's go with Grim. 27. Oh, seems close to a bingo, but is there one here? Urbanist onto urbanize. Wow, that'll be good if opponent leaves the spot alone. Urbanize and hose for 77. If that spot is taken, the T looks useful as well. So urbanist, but it clashes with Zen. Yeah, great. Urbanize is still up for grabs. 77. Not bad. I draw the J and the rest of the rack quite flexible. The Q still to come, so that U pretty useful if opponent is holding on to the Q. Kajun springs to mind. 28. Good rack leave. I could just play the J off if the rest of the rack pretty strong. Toad, okay. Now the U, quite useful. I could just play Gene. I wonder if that, what does that do for the board? Doesn't create a floater for opponent. It frustrates the R and, well, the U and the R are no longer useful floaters. The E's not really a floater. I quite like this play. Gene for 42. Okay, I've just got the one vowel now, which is not ideal, but one is better than none. Coifs scores pretty well. 26. Poodoo, opponent creates a bingo lane. 5 tiles remain. I don't think I have to worry about bingos emerging from this lot, although there will be a few. Can't play fleece. I need an extra E. So what about coifs? It hangs on to my one and only vowel. Yeah, I'm going with this. And there's only 3 vowels out of 12 tiles remaining. Ouch, I draw the Q. I've got cat through the A, and and I've got chi or chin, so opponent can't stick me with the Q, which is reassuring, but I do need to get rid of it ASAP. Sook as well through the U, so maybe I don't need to get rid of it as soon as I had originally thought. Now, opponent plays banjo, scores well. Turbinize. I don't think that's a thing. So opponent has 5 tiles, ALMRV. Opponent could play Vril for a decent score. So let me take that out. Chin for 14. And alerts to go out. There'll probably be another spot as well. Urbanizers. Okay, so I'll go out with alerts for 16, and that's the end of the game. Thank my opponent. 496 to 378. Let's see what we missed. Opponent to go first goes with ticks. Cow for 27. Widow. Interesting. Across the top. 30 points. Yeah, that would have been the play. Okay, slightly suboptimal there. Opponent's got Toto for 29, goes with Toe for 22, and then Wig is best, slightly there. Opponent's got the Z, 40-point play, nice, and then recodes for 83, available in a few different locations on the board. Opponent Numetry. Wow, I've not seen that one before. Numetry. Noometry. Probably pronounced. Gonocyte. Wow. Monocyte. Ontogeny. Ontogeny. Theogony. Wow, look at all these ENY words. Okay, opponent went with Yon, and AIA at 6J was simming best. It does give back an easy score for opponent, but look at the rack leave power. So it is nice, but I think AA is okay. EF for 26 looks fine for opponent. Now, quite a few options here. Charlier. Wow, look at that for 99. Not even a bingo, but a 9-timer. Charlier. To be more Charlie. Well, I think that's the diarrhea. Wow. That's also worked well. Diarrhea. And herbarial. Herbarial was actually a bingo. Herbarial, very nice. I went with Hailers for 78. And then opponents, a bit vowel heavy here. No bingos playable goes with Ho. Highing for 48 was fine. And then, but there was Yarring. Where was that? Oh, okay. Yarring getting the trip, but yeah, Highing definitely best. Opponents got a few bingos. Petraries. That would have been nice through the AR. Goes with Respite. And then I've got this rack, Nigiri. Japanese sushi. So that would have been nice. Well, it's a decent score and it does address the eye issue, but just an easy scoring spot for opponent. But, you know, it's a decent play. I do like it. So I went with Liar, and opponents got Audio for 31. Nicely spotted with Respited. Now, no playable bingo. I don't know why I thought Rhymings or Mirings was good, but neither of them are. So Grim seems fine. Bit of a horror show here for opponent. Actually, did have a decent score. 27 for Poodoo. Okay, he goes with Vita. Now, Urbanize for 77 was the only bingo there. Abhorred 20, Tupelo. Also a tricky rack. And then Gene for 42, Joiner for 42, but I do like Gene because of how it controls the board. Where was Joiner was here through. Yeah, but that just leaves the U and the R and the hook onto the L. So really wanted to take out bingo lanes. Opponent goes with Poodoo. Clefs for 46. That's quite nice. Wow. Yeah, that would have been the play. Went with Coifs for 26. And opponent's got this rack. No bingo there. Banjo for 42. Nice play. And then Wrens for 31. I wasn't going to be stuck with the Q because there were just too many spots for it. Cat, Chi, Cat, Sook. So I didn't really have to worry. But where was Wrens? Again, that underlap. 31. And a guaranteed Cat because opponent's not going out with ALMRV on this board. So, yeah, I went with Chin, then opponents got VAR, and then alerts. So that was the end of the game. 1 or 2 misses there. Hope you enjoyed watching that game, and I will see you next time.